Racism has always been expensive. It's always been expensive. It's just, they always thought that they would have the fee. They always thought they would have the fee, and hell, for a good minute they did. They had the fee to give. See, the problem is now they don't have the fee. They don't have the fee, so it's becoming a problem. And rather than stop trying to pay the fucking fee, y'all will literally kill yourselves and kill the reputation of this country, of this nation, trying to pay a fee that y'all should have been stopped paying. Okay? Y'all should have been stopped paying. When colleges went from being tuition free to tuition based in 1960s, in the 1960s, that was all because y'all couldn't stop us from getting educated anymore. So you wanted to put a roadblock in there. You wanted to make it harder for us. We didn't have the capital like you guys did. So you added tuition. The reason why America doesn't have universal health care is because that means everybody would have access to it, that including people like me and you. And they don't want that. They thought that they would always have surgery money. They thought that they was always going to have outpatient care money. You understand? Private doctor money. Hell, I'm not going to an office. I can always have them come to me. That's what they thought they was always going to have. And as they started to see that they were losing leverage, rather than stop paying the fee for racism, they said, bitch, here, take my arm, take my leg, take my organs. To the point where you guys are where you are today, still trying to pay a fee, going out of your way to pay a fee that literally is killing you. It's killing you. And then now that you're starting to realize that y'all really did fuck around a little bit too much, you want my pretty black ass to get up out of my seat to come and fight for you? Oh, you're fucking stupid. Oh, you're beyond stupid. You're beyond my pretty self. You see me? Y'all see my brothers and sisters? They fine too. We supposed to get up out of our seats? Up out of our beds? And I heard a white woman literally said, black people, stay where you are. I would never take no advice from white people unless it was on how to be selfish, because that's the only thing that I think that they can give. However, this white lady said, do not get up out of your seats. You want to know why? They want us to get out and be in the streets so that now they can plot to kill us. Us doing exactly what we're doing. Like, this is why they so hot. This is why they 50 degrees. Like, they hot because they wanted us to come out there so that we could be fucking sitting ducks. Especially considering they done seen how fucking expensive racism is now.
Being racist in America costs all of us. It's very well understood now that no one can afford college because of Ronald Reagan. College in the United States used to be affordable, if not free, until the 1980s and Ronald Reagan. And they realized that a ton of black Americans were starting to go to secondary universities. So they made the cost of going to college astronomical, unaffordable, unapproachable to try to whitewash attendance. Unfortunately, for a lot of lower and middle income white people, that also meant you get caught up in the net. Now no one can afford college because they tried to keep black and brown people out. And it's happening again in 2025 in the big stupid budget bill that they've come up with. They're cutting Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP benefits, and FEMA. Why? Why are they cutting all of these programs? So that they can build detention centers for ICE. So because you're racist against brown people and you don't want brown people in this country, they're going to spend billions of dollars on building detention centers, camps, prisons. They're going to use your tax money to pay to fly them out of the country, to pay customs and border agents to round them up. That shit doesn't happen for free. So they're going to cut FEMA. So the next time you see a hurricane, a tornado, a fire swoop through your town or your neighborhood and destroy everything, and you wonder where FEMA is, it's in jail. Instead of saving each other and your neighbors, you're now paying to incarcerate brown people. They're using our money for hate instead of help. And you're good with this?
What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this episode. I always appreciate your love and your support to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Vanessa. Kindly consider subscribing. Today we are talking about this statement that has been moving around, saying that racism is expensive. Yes, it is. I don't know what you believe. Just stay tuned and tell me what you think in the comments section, because we have many Black Americans saying or explaining how racism is expensive. But the good thing that I like from today's episode is that some white folks are now starting to admit it, because when you block one community from development, it doesn't just hurt them, it comes back and hurt the whole society. So let's break this down. We have different speakers today. A credit belongs to them. I'll be back with more commentary. Stay tuned.
The most expensive thing that we pay for in life is racism, and we're not angry enough about it. People aren't exaggerating when they say that racism is expensive. The fact that we cannot have universal health care in this country because a very insecure person is more worried about the fact that an undocumented immigrant might get a toothache, a tooth infection, and need to get that tooth filled or pulled on the taxpayer's dime. We can't build more housing in expensive cities and neighborhoods because an insecure person is worried about a Black family that came from a not good part of the neighborhood moving across the street from them. We can't have free public universities in this country because that insecure person is worried about his generationally wealthy children not being able to compete with the low-income families or children from the Middle East. We can't even talk about homelessness because we have to spend more money than every other country spends on their defense team. Now, per Google, it's cheaper to house the homeless rather than leaving them homeless and letting them be homeless. Now, y'all had to elect the racist, dementia-ridden, orange, Cheeto Puff-looking maniac back into office because he told y'all that people are eating their cats and dogs, and like geniuses, y'all believed him. Now we have to pay for these ridiculous tariffs. Now we have to pay for these expensive, ridiculous tariffs because the economy literally took a back seat in the last election. Sit and marinate on that. If you like what I just talked about, the guy that said this, his name is Saber Daddy, SABERDADDY 94. Y'all go look at his page and give him some love because he told nothing but the truth.
Promise that you're not angry enough about the fact that the most expensive thing you'll ever pay for in your life is racism. People aren't being hyperbolic or abstract when they say racism is expensive. We can't have universal health care in this country because, my God, an undocumented immigrant just might get a tooth filling on the taxpayer's dime. We can't build more housing in expensive cities and neighborhoods because, my God, the Black family from the bad part of town just might move across the street from me. We can't have free public university because, my God, my precious white children who are born into generational wealth may not be able to compete with the low-income migrants from the Middle East. We can't even talk about homelessness because we have to spend more money on immigration enforcement than almost every other country does on their entire defense because, my God, brown people may get in unauthorized if we don't do that. We had to elect the racist, dementia-ridden orange maniac back into office because he told people who look like me that people who don't look like me are eating their pet cats and dogs. And the people who do look like me believed him. And now we all have to pay for these nonsensical tariffs because economic literacy took a backseat to racism in the last election. Racism is incredibly expensive.
So I kind of want to touch base on the Caucasian woman crying about China having it better than America and how racism is expensive. A lot of racist Caucasians know that. They know that. But they rather do their due diligence. They rather thrive in racism. So people that do not look like them have it the worst. A lot of them have been programmed to behave this way. And I say program, baby. They still haven't found their way out the maze. Not realizing they're oppressing their own selves. Creating shit for others and end up rolling in their own shit they created. How does it smell? Because majority of black folks, we know how that shit smells. We've been taught to know by our elders. But for a lot of you guys, all this is new. All of these disappointments, all of these barriers in this nation for you, it's new. Why is this new? Because you thought it wouldn't affect you. It's only supposed to affect the ones that don't look like you. Racist Caucasians, you made an observations. Yes, we're melanin, we're niggas, right? You formed the hypothesis, right? Division. You experimented on division, oppression, racism. You have collected your data on this. So, how are your conclusions? It doesn't matter, 40 years, 400 years, 10,000 years. You will not escape what you've done or what your ancestors have done, unfortunately. Everything is everything. It's all a full circle.
Guys, let's try to be honest. Like, the black community has been blocked at every corner of development. From slavery to Jim Crow to redlining to job discrimination, our creativity, businesses, education, everything have constantly been cut short. Listen, it's not because we lacked talent or ambition. No, just because the doors were locked. And when people are systemically denied land, capitals, fair wages, and opportunities, definitely their potential is just buried. That's not just injustice. It's wasted brilliance. I don't know what you believe on this, but think about the many inventors, scientists, educators, entrepreneurs that could have risen up if the black community have been given fair chances. Imagine how many $billion of companies that could have been built, how many problems that could have been solved, how much wealth circulated, not just in our community, but for the whole country. But instead, that progress is stolen, leaving generational poverty and trauma. And listen, it didn't just go like that. Here is the twist: racism that didn't just hurt us. Today, many white folks are now paying the consequences. Because when you block or when you exclude millions of people from development, what happens? Eventually, the economy feels it, for real. Look around. There is a shortage of workers, a shortage of teachers, a shortage of healthcare professionals. Why? Think about that. Why? Because generations of black people were blocked from proper education and stable careers. And today companies are crying out for innovation, but they helped shut down the very community full of talents. And that's the cost of racism. It's expensive for everybody. But here is the lesson. It's very simple. You cannot build a healthy nation while holding one group down, isn't it? Tell me what you think about this. Because when black people thrive, the whole society thrives. But when you deny justice, equality, and opportunity, you're just creating cracks that weakens the entire foundation. And racism is expensive because it robs everyone's unity, prosperity, and growth. That's all I can say about this. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I really always appreciate your love and your support. If you haven't yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Just show some love on this channel. It was your girl Vanessa. Tell me what you think in the comments, and if you have enjoyed, just leave a like to this video, share this with your friends. Let's catch up in the next. Bye.